tell me a little bit about the origin story. What was the kind of deciding factor when you were like, all right, we're going to get out here and we're going to start Armor Service Group? What was that moment in time?
Life led me to a place where just something told me that the time was now. That I can't really put it into anything more than that.
What is your background? What gave you the confidence to be like, yeah, no, I can do this?
I grew up doing home repairs. I've been doing it my whole entire life. Ever since I was like 3 years old, burned my foot on the old floor furnace that was in my house I grew up in. And
Are you doing any kind of like networking or local community things, or this is sheerly just you're doing great work and people are just, I mean, your reviews are doing great, but like, are they giving you referrals? Tell me a little bit about how you manage that within your business.
Just meet other like-minded folks and see if we can help them with anything, or just make a friend. And or talk to them about what their struggles are, challenges. It's amazing, when you get people that are going through the same struggles as you, that sense of community.
All right, welcome to another edition of the Superpro Podcast, your heartbeat of home service excellence. I am Roland Ligtenberg, your host, co-founder, and I'm also an advocate for all the hardworking pros out there that help make our homes better, safer, stronger, more comfortable. Through Housecall Pro, I've had the privilege of supporting hundreds of thousands of pros just like you, empowering you all to achieve more, stress less, and redefine success in our industry. I'm super excited. Today, we've got an amazing guest. This is Justin Touchstone. He's the owner of Armor Service Group, AC company based out of Milton, Florida. If you don't know where Milton is, it's kind of close to Pensacola. That's what he was telling me. Justin's launched his business just in 2023, so still a very young business. But just in under a year, he hit 1.65 million in revenue, and this year he's going to almost double that to 3 million this year. So this guy is super ambitious. I'm really curious the strategies he's putting in place to hit those big goals. I'm super excited to hear about this journey and all of the lessons that he has in store for us today. Justin, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you having me.
Tell me a little bit about the origin story. What was the kind of deciding factor when you were like, all right, we're going to get out here and we're going to start Armor Service Group? What was that moment in time?
Well, it was kind of it was always a lifelong goal to own a business, and I was going to start this company in 2026, but just life led me to a place where just something told me that the time was now. That I can't really put it into anything more than that. Just with everything that was happening, I just felt like it was the right time, and we took a leap of faith and just gave it a shot.
So tell me a little bit about your background, because that sounds like, oh yeah, you're just like, let's just do it. Life just happens. But like, what is your background? What gave you the confidence to be like, yeah, no, I can do this?
Yeah, I guess that would help for sure. So I grew up doing home repairs. I've been doing it my whole entire life. Ever since I was like 3 years old, burned my foot on the old floor furnace that was in my house I grew up in, and my dad and I put the first central heat and air in that house. We remodeled that whole thing. And I grew up, doing that at home and then going to work with him weekends, all summer, that type of stuff. So just really learned a ton from him, from a young age. And then went into some other careers for a little while, but came back to this trade in, my early 20s. And this is something that my dad always recommended that I do. I was like, nah, Dad, let me go do all these other things. And then I just came back to the industry. That worked out really well, and then stayed doing it for some amount of time until, it just felt like it was the right time to start my own thing.
So you have 7 people on the team, 3 in the office, 4 in the field. Where did you find these individuals to become a part of your business? How do you source them?
Let's see. I would say, the majority of them just came from online job postings. We run those all the time. We're always looking for the best people. That was a big fear of mine, to start adding other people to the team. I just wanted to make sure that they were representing the brand really well. So we just started from the very beginning, like day one. We just started recruiting, looking for the right people, and didn't bring anybody on for quite a while, months and months and months, and then finally brought on the first one and went from there.
And, you've been growing really fast, and a lot of people feel like they have to have the growth before they can hire. But did you did you hire before the growth, or was it kind of like, climb up a ladder where it's like left hand, right hand, left hand, right hand, is like grow a little more, hire another person, or how did you handle that?
I would say we've always leaned towards hiring early. I mean, I was very cautious at first, like I said, but then I just knew I knew that there's a lot of things that need to happen um, on the business, not just in the business. And so I really just wanted to have, plenty of people to be able to cover these people. Clients more and more, they really want to have people they can get a hold of at any given time. And everybody seems to be busier now more than ever. So, we have to work late hours or very early mornings, that type of stuff. And so from the get-go, I was like, yeah, if we want to be 24/7 service, we're going to need a team for sure.
Yeah, I think sometimes that's the hardest for new business owners is like, you want to have enough work to keep everyone busy because you don't want to spend all this time to find someone good or train people and then not have enough work. And at the same time, if you don't hire someone, you're never going to get off the truck yourself. and then you can't grow the business. So that's like one of the biggest chicken and egg problems that I always see, especially with businesses that grow at the pace at which you guys are at.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit about, as you're building out different marketing channels, where are most people hearing about your business and how do you think about that as a strategy? Because I feel like growing at the rate that you do, there has to be some creative unlock that you found to get these customers in the door.
I gotcha. Well, yeah, as much as I'd love to say there's some magic pill, we really just try to be online. There's several different ones. We use Google a lot. That's probably our main one. They have a really nice, simple to use platform.
Yep.
And yeah, that's been the main one. Those just like what a lot of people are doing. But anywhere we can get the name out there online.
Yeah, I think Google, especially LSA, local service ads by Google, is fairly straightforward, and you don't have to have a marketing degree and have to worry about crazy PPC and all these other things to figure out. There, you can just kind of input your budget. What do you do as a service, and boom, they can start coming in. You still have to go through the Google guaranteed hoops and the background check and those things, but it's a fairly easy channel to set up, considering all the other channels that are out there right now.
Right. Yes, sir.
Are you doing any kind of like networking or local community things, or is this sheerly just you're doing great work and people are just, your reviews are doing great, but like, are they giving you referrals? Tell me a little bit about how you manage that within your business. Yes,
we do a lot of networking. Basically, anything and everything that we can do in the community. We've done everything from river cleanups to we got involved through some churches that were helping people out of homeless centers and into an actual home, a single family home. So we were taking the trucks and moving people. And let's see, what else have we done? Yeah, every local meeting that we can find, we try to go just say hello and have lunch and meet some folks in the community. We've done things from visit the BNI in town, the chamber meetings. What else? We've gone to a lot of ribbon cuttings for other businesses in the area. Just get to know them.
Oh, that's a good golden nugget. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Just meet other like-minded folks and see if we can help them with anything, or just make a friend and or talk to them about what their struggles are, challenges. It's amazing. When you get people that are going through the same struggles as you, that sense of community. You say, what have we done to, go out and market? But it's really just, go out. We get a lot of enjoyment out of doing that type of stuff. Let's see. I feel like we've done a few more. Yeah, they have local fundraisers here in this town around the river, like the duck race and all that. It's where they sell these little rubber duckies. It all goes to a good cause. So we sponsor that. There's it's kind of a rural community here, but a lot of the guys like to go race. So we have a race car that we sponsor as well. So that's going around the track out there. We like doing that one. It just seems like in these rural towns, sometimes it gets boring. So that motorsports have always been something that the kids try to work hard for, get good grades so they can go ride or go race, that type of stuff. So yeah, those are really enjoyable too.
Yeah, I think there's something that's just resonating after I just hear you talk. There's not one single silver bullet. There's really just a variety of different things, and there's a lot of community events, a lot of things that are either hobbies of your employees, and or just of the folks in the town. And it really comes down to just being a lot of different places all at once. And I mean, within a year, really to be able to generate that kind of revenue really quickly is impressive. And so I think for those that are out there looking for that silver bullet, it's probably not going on here, but there is no silver bullet. It's just a combination of a lot of things that has really helped Justin get his business where it is today and so quick. What are you going to do? You're going to double. You're looking to double this year. That's like massive growth, especially for such a young company. Is there anything else you're just really doubling down on, or are you just so confident that everyone's kind of coming back, and now that your name's been out there just for a little bit, you're going to get this wave of referrals in?
Yeah, I mean, now we're going into year 3. So, our goal is to never lose a client. That's really what we do. So a lot of customer retention, so we're using the same strategies that took us to where we got to last year, and combination with keeping in touch with the old clients. So we've got some ongoing memberships with them. If we don't have anything like that in place, we'll call them and check on them. Just, drop them a voicemail. Hey, this is Justin. We worked for you last year. If you need anything, we're still here. Give us a shout. Stuff like that. Yeah. Just maintaining the old and then growing the new and keeping them all going together.
Yeah. I think, if you're relatively new out there, one of the most important things you should be working on is your memberships or your service agreements and getting back into the homes of the people that obviously trusted you in the first place and you did a good job with, and that you're not losing. And so, a lot of people think about, it's just win, win, win more, but the reverse is also true. Don't lose any. If you don't lose any customers that keep coming back to you, you can build that base to work from each year rather than having to find an entirely new stack, every single year. That's going to be much more difficult, and you got to spend a lot more as a percentage of gross on marketing to accomplish that kind of a feat. But I like the strategy you guys are doing.
Yes, sir.
Tell me a little bit more about your guys' kind of core values and how are people learning to do it, the Justin way, or is it the company way, is it Armor Service Group way? How are you kind of getting everybody to be able to deliver this high quality of service that you expect?
Well, what we've believed from the beginning is that the employee does have to win first. I do not want to send a unhappy employee to go deal with a potential client. So we start with that. And so we're very, like I said, careful about who we hire, and then we pay them very fairly. And we incentivize them to want to care. And then from there, our core values are to be knowledgeable, punctual, and trustworthy. And basically, that's what it seems like it boils down to in any trade. Anybody that I've spoken with, they want to deal with people who value them. They're going to show up when they say that they're going to show up. They're going to know what they're talking about, and it's going to be the truth. That whatever we say, it's going to work. We're not going to quote it unless we're 99% sure that it's going to work. And if it's not, we'll take care of that for you on that off chance. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, sometimes things seem so simple when they're just said out loud, but I think living those kind of values over and over again and then doing it yourself so employees can see it is kind of key to unlocking it so they can do things autonomously without you constantly have to check over them, which is probably the hardest thing for newer business owners to be able to kind of let go. But within that framework, if everyone's operating by that and employee wins first, they're the ones that are taking care of your customer. And I really like how you laid that out so easily. It makes sense.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about you guys are starting to do more social media now. How are you guys thinking about your social media strategy as it relates to just, your growth this year? What are some things you're doing more of, or maybe things you're doing less of to really hone that in?
So social media, we're just going to need to do more, period. That's just something, that's something we haven't done as much as we should have. So what we're looking for is some type of platform where we can put all the social medias into one and then just make a post that goes out to all of them. So that is what we're working on next. And then that way we can, I don't know, I've heard of tools like that. if nothing else, if we got to build it ourselves, we're just going to try to make a schedule, make it rhythmic, once a week, once a month, and just do the same thing across all platforms. And then hopefully that'll build us up a library, and we can, reuse things here, there, stuff like that. But in general, we don't have some 5-chapter, written plan. It's just going to be to post in general. We have some accounts that don't even have posts on them yet. So we got to start.
Yeah. And look, I think for all new businesses too, there's so many fires always to put out and so many things to kind of spend your energy on that it's hard to hit all of the things you should be doing as a business owner. And I know a lot of business owners are like, I didn't get into the trades to be a TikToker. I want to actually do a trade, not be on TikTok or doing that kind of stuff. But I think, for those that are like, well, what do I even post? What do I get out there? The easiest thing is just to show your work. Just show your work. If you do good work, if it's clean, if it looks good, show your work and let people know where you did the work. Because what's going to happen is these platforms are all very smart. They're going to show this stuff to people in that area. And even if someone is just kind of looking through stuff, doom scrolling, whatever they happen to be doing, they can see it. And that's just one extra touch that those customers need to be like, oh yeah, I've seen this Armor Service Group thing before. I don't know where anymore, but like I saw it somewhere, but like people see that stuff. But that's the easiest place to start for sure.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
So you started the business 2023, right in the middle of busy season. You're like, all right, I'm implementing Housecall Pro. What was that moment? What were you looking for? What happened when you're like, all right, I need this thing and I need it now, and we're doing it mid-season?
So it was just it was trial and error, really. I knew from the start that we were going to need a CRM of some sort. Definitely don't want anybody to slip through the cracks. And we tried 2 that were the latest and greatest, and it was just, they were so hard to use. It got to be impossible on one. And so I heard of a few people I knew here locally using this one. I never listened, so I used all the other ones, but everyone else that I talked to was still sticking with y'all and or sticking with Housecall Pro. So I was like, you know what, we'll just give it a shot. Heard good things, we'll try it. And been there ever since.
Yeah, I think there's some truth into saying like, oh, friends are using it, keep using it. Maybe I should take a look at it. But it's hard because sometimes online you'll see a whole bunch of influencers, pushing other things, and you see them and their Lambos and their jets and all kinds of crazy stuff, and you're like, oh, that must be the tool. But I think when it comes down to it, being able to take a Ford F-150 to go get some groceries and then also go, do the work at an affordable rate, that works. That just works. And if it's simple, it's easy to use. If your employees are happy and easy for them to use and you don't have to train them on a lot of different stuff, those are things that a lot of people don't really take into consideration. They just kind of see like this end goal, and it's like, there's so many different steps, and that might not even do you really want that goal? Or do you just want to be, quiet wealthy and quiet, there's different people out there, but it's definitely something to consider when you're out there looking at that process.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. We made the move right during the busy season, but we had shopped through quite a few, and a lot of them just looked so clunky. It looked like I was having to read code or something, just real small, hard to see. And that was a big part of this one. It looked simplistic enough, which the one that I had before this, it was a lot of great ideas, but the execution on them, it wasn't even a finished product, it seemed like. So this was simple, but it was all there, and it was complete, and it works.
Yeah, the good thing is, it'll be there to, like, with your growth, it'll grow alongside you, and for us, we just keep developing more and more features, especially, if you're in the mechanical trades too, that are really built around those pro votes that we get from pros in the community, which is one of the benefits of, being inside a Housecall Pro. You get to join the groups, you get to be in there, you get to see what other people are talking about, thinking about, saying, cast kind of your things. What's the biggest game changer when it came to implementing Housecall Pro? What was the thing where you're like, all right, this thing was like the main reason that, this gave me the biggest lift?
I think just being able to go in there, it was really just the day-to-day stuff, being able to send an estimate quickly. and then build that price book and those templates and have it all just at the click of a button instead of, you got to go through this whole thing. And then if you want to edit a price or something, you really can't even accomplish that, stuff like that. So
talk to me about building out a price book. I feel like that seems to be one of the hardest things. And some people will choose to use or buy a price book and just implement that in their business. Some folks will actually go out and build their full price book. Some just upload materials raw from their distributor, into Housecall Pro. How did you go about it, and how do you think about it? Because it's probably a big blocker, or it makes people think about, well, which path should I take? Because there's a lot of paths here.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just, I just started with one thing. I took off. I didn't know exactly what type of clients we would even get. We were so new in the business. It was still, every day was a brand new world. And so I just started to, as I went along, I would put something in there. And then after it was done, I would check and see how it worked out on the costing. And then if it worked, I would keep it. If not, I would adjust it. And I just kind of built it out from one thing to the next. And then, then I started making a few different categories and then just filling them out one by one.
I love that golden nugget, because I think a lot of people get stuck with, like, well, it has to be the perfect price book right out of the gate. Otherwise, we can't even start. But I think the biggest thing and the golden nugget here is just, take action, start building it based upon what you're actually doing. And you're going to know what you need to build out or not build out. And from there, you can ship and iterate. So you can change it. If the pricing's good, where it works, look at your margins afterwards, after you get the materials, and it's okay to change it. It doesn't have to be set in stone.
Yeah, exactly. Don't get the analysis paralysis. Just take action, try it and see. Nobody's going to tell you everything. So you'll just either try and it'll work, or you'll have to do it different next time. Just keep going, start today.
I like it. What's something that you're like, now that you know that Housecall Pro has it and you've got it implemented, what's something that you're like, oh man, I should have just done this right out of the gate?
I would say just go ahead and probably get pretty much the full script, get the pipeline tool. That was a huge game changer. We were, we were booking jobs and this and that. And then as the team grew and then the customer needs grew, and then you have parts that you're waiting on to arrive, I found myself doing this thing. Well, we'll just put it at the end of the week, and then we'll move you up if necessary. And it was just a lot of double work. And now, if we got to come back with a part, we'll just put it in the bucket that says, waiting on a part. And then when it gets here, we'll schedule it then. And that way, you just do it instantly, and that way you can never forget. It works with you.
Yeah. And I think sometimes just the organization part of it and different statuses, the pipeline tool allows you to do that. And you can build custom ones, you can build custom flows. And so whatever happens to be, I know a lot of HVAC pros will create a status, like they'll create wait lists in summertime when they just have so many calls coming in, they got to prioritize, and they'll stack rank their membership folks, or their service agreement folks in one pipeline and then everyone else in the other pipeline. And, it just makes it so things just don't fall through the cracks, especially as you start to grow. Because when it's just you can kind of remember and still probably do a bad job at it, but you can kind of remember. But once you've got a whole bunch of people out on the road, there's no chance you can remember everything. It's just not feasible. And this thing will do it for you. Well, you need to put in some work, but it'll at least keep track of the things that don't slip through the cracks.
Absolutely.
What kind of advice would you give? Maybe not even your younger self, but someone that's just kind of starting their business. What's something that would have made a big difference if someone told it to you when you were starting out?
Yeah, if someone would have told this to me. Let's see. Honestly, the only thing that I would do different, I would say to make sure that you schedule some time for yourself. If you're doing everything else very well, just take time for yourself, because, resting as you go can keep you more consistent than just going in survival mode and then hitting the burnout point where you're non-functional. So just be consistent, that's going to be the key, is being consistent. And part of that would be taking time for yourself to rest and recuperate and reflect.
Yeah, I think that's often so hard for many entrepreneurs is kind of keep in the back of their mind because they feel like, all the responsibility falls on their shoulders. But remember, if you're not taking that time off, you might not be making the best decisions all the time anymore because you're just constantly bombarded with stuff. So building that into your schedule, whether it's weekly, daily, whatever that happens to be, I think summertime is especially tough for y'all in the HVAC kind of space because you have so much work coming in that you could be working every single day of the week, nonstop, all summer long, if you're not careful. And then, like you said, if you don't schedule that time, it's just gonna, your work schedule is gonna overrun everything else.
Exactly.
What does it mean to you to be a super pro and be in the super pro community? For people that don't understand that or don't even know what it is, how'd you describe it? What does it mean to you?
Well, yeah, I was definitely honored whenever they reached out. I didn't really know what the parameters were. And then once I became a super pro, I got to see it and it was like, okay, it says something about people that strive to have good customer service, good ratings, something along those lines. And yeah, it was, like I said, I was honored that they were inviting me in there. And then, everybody in the community, anytime I have a question, even if it's about something totally not to do with Housecall Pro, everybody in there has always helped me more than any other group. They always comment back. And then, so now it's kind of flipped. I find myself, if someone has a question about this or that, I'm like, hey, just do this. Because I know I've had to bug y'all several times over the years, and y'all have helped me right away. And so now it's just, I feel like I'm giving back. And it gives me a good sense of community. Like, I don't even mind to see the people that go on there to vent and have if they're having a bad day, because it happens to every single one of us. We can have our best day and our worst day 6 times in the same day. So seeing someone else going through it, remembering you're not alone, it's been invaluable. I think you got to have that.
Yeah, I think, look, it's really hard as an entrepreneur. Sometimes I feel super lonely because, who else can you talk to about some of the things? And so having a place where you can do that, where you can vent, or you can be like, what would you do in this situation? In a safe space where you can get advice from other people that know exactly what you're going through because they have gone through it or are currently going through it as well. So I think just having that sense of community beyond just software itself, beyond just like, the operations and all the other things that you can be doing in your business, but really that pro to pro kind of connection. That's definitely one of the big, I would say, benefits when it comes to our Super Pro group and our Housecall Pros group as well. But definitely our Super Pros are just on another level. They're growing really fast. They're using the right tools. They've got the right reviews. They've got the right values, all the different pieces. And so being around like-minded people is always good because, man, it's nice to spitball ideas from time to time. Even when it comes to building like price books, whatever it is, it's good to have another opinion, that's out there.
Absolutely.
Justin, it's been awesome having you on. There's so many like low key golden nuggets you've been dropping throughout this entire interview. I hope all of you guys have caught them. If you haven't, the team will probably summarize some of them in the notes, but you got to watch the whole episode if you want to learn them. If you want to listen to the next Super Pro podcast where we continue to have guests on here, if you like what you hear, make sure to leave a comment. I will answer. And if you happen to not be using Housecall Pro and you want to use Housecall Pro, we've got a deals link somewhere in the show notes that's out there. You can always text me directly at 858-215-1512, and I will hook you up as well. Justin, thanks so much for coming on the show today. I really appreciate it. And I will see all of you guys next week.
All right.
Thanks, Justin.
Yes, sir.
The Superpro Podcast is brought to you by Housecall Pro, the leading platform for the home service industry. Housecall Pro streamlines your workflows and simplifies everything from scheduling and dispatching to communication and billing. Unlock the full potential of your home service business with Housecall Pro. Work smarter and more efficiently with streamlined workflows and detailed analytics. Win more business and serve your customers well, every single time. Join more than 40,000 home service pros who have already revolutionized their businesses. Work smarter with streamlined workflows, get organized with centralized information, and scale your business your way. Learn more at housecallpro.com.